You may have heard the president during the State of the Union last night say something, and you might have thought to yourself, am I hearing this right? If you missed it, here's what he said.
I want to provide an annual tax credit that will give Americans $400 a month for the next 2 years as mortgage rates come down to put toward their mortgages when they buy their first home or trade up for a little more space. Just for 2 years.
So, yeah, you heard what you thought you heard. Now here's what's going on.
So let me be very clear. These are just proposals to lower the cost of home ownership. And he talked about lowering rent costs too. The fact is, the president needs Congress to do most of the stuff he's talking about. But there are some things he can do on his own. I'm going to explain all of that in this video. Now, for the record, these concepts are not new for Joe Biden. He has actually talked about lowering housing costs for years. It's just these proposals that are new. So the main proposal really has two parts. Part one is to provide mortgage relief for middle-class first-time home buyers, and the other part is for middle-class homeowners who want more space, but they feel locked into their current home because of their low mortgage rate. So first, let's talk about those first-time middle-class home buyers. The president is proposing an annual tax credit of $5,000 a year for 2 years. If you divide $5,000 by 12 months, you get $417 a month. So that's where that $400 number came from that he's talking about. The White House said this tax credit would be the equivalent of reducing your mortgage rate on a median home by about 1.5 percentage points for the first 2 years that you own the home. Now, the other part of this proposal is for those home buyers who feel like their lower mortgage rates are locking them into their current home, even though they've grown out of it and they want to buy something else. The president is proposing a 1-year tax credit of up to $10,000 for those middle-class families who ultimately sell their starter home to another owner-occupant. Now, the White House says both of these programs combined would help about 3 million middle-class families buy a home or level up their living situation. Now, let's be clear, the president cannot wave a magic pen and make either of these things happen. Because both of these proposals include tax credits, Congress would have to pass a law to make either of these things happen. And with this particular Congress, don't expect any of this to happen before the election. Now, last night, the president also talked about getting rent prices down. Now, you probably know most of the reason why rents are so high in this country is because there simply isn't enough housing really to go around, and there's maybe a little rent gouging happening too. So let's talk about the part Biden can do on his own without Congress as it relates to rent. Biden unveiled $20 billion in grant funding to incentivize local governments to cut red tape so builders can build more affordable rental units. I also told you in this video this week, the president set up a strike force to go after companies that price gouge. Well, the president also announced that the same strike force would go after corporate landlords and private equity firms accused of illegal price fixing and inflating rents. The president is proposing a new tax credit for home builders to incentivize them to build more affordable rental units and renovate existing homes and units in cities across the country. Again, because those things are tax credits, Congress would need to pass a law to make it happen. And as I said before, there's a very little chance that this particular Congress could get any of this done before the election.